This is Southern Cross News with Joe Palmer.
Good evening everyone and welcome to Southern Cross News. Labor is calling for a new state-of-the-art meat processing facility to be built in Tasmania as farmers accuse companies of abandoning the island. It comes after the downsizing of operations at the former JBS abattoir in Devonport earlier this month. The government says it's already on the case, labelling Labor's idea shallow and ill-conceived.
For years, Richmond farmer Doug Dickinson has been a Liberal voter, but today was opening the paddock gate for Labor, angry at the government over the decline of red meat processing in Tasmania.
It's been a disgrace. It's been an absolute disgrace. They've sat on their hands, they've had the warning. This industry to Tasmania, ovine industry, sheep and lamb, without the wool is worth $180 million a year, and they've totally disregarded.
Roughly 8,500 lambs leave his property each year. They had been going to JBS Devonport before the former operator shut its lamb line. Now Labor wants a new site built in the state's north.
What we really need is a brand new state-of-the-art facility for the state. We've seen a lot of advances in the way that meat and stock are processed, and we need to take advantage of that.
Policy catch-ups, say the Liberals, who announced an industry working group just last week.
Ensuring that our producers have got access to abattoir and we actually get it to market, ensuring top dollar for producers and best quality of meat for Tasmanians.
With just 1 week of state parliament left for the year, the government is tying up loose ends, pushing forward with changes on the Burials Act, fighting amendments to gender on birth certificates, and preparing for a very long wages war against the unions, as the AEU stops work across the state on Tuesday and Wednesday, and the CPSU holds back 175 forensic reports.
Now that's a shocking statistic, and it shows it is having a significant impact on Tas Police's ability to actually deal with crime in Tasmania.
Teachers and nurses aren't taking industrial action lightly. They are being forced into this position because the government's simply not speaking with them in good faith about their wages and conditions of work.
With both sides well and truly locked in a stalemate, expect the protests to continue. Sean McComish, Southern Cross News.
The SANDFLY Fire Brigade has today marked a significant milestone, celebrating 50 years of service to the Tasmanian community. The brigade is made up of more than 30 volunteers who help out across the state and have never missed a call-out.
Members of the SANDFLY Fire Brigade celebrating 5 decades of its service. The equipment may have changed from this truck used in the 1970s to today's state-of-the-art technology, but the motivation of community protection remains the same.
We're very well known for working out of area. We travel all around the state because we can usually get crews because we've got such good membership and they're very well trained.
They've never missed a fire call and they respond all over the state. So whether it be Bruny Island or in the northeast of the state, they'll be there.
The crew here not only fight fires, but work on everything from the aftermath of car accidents to hosting community awareness campaigns. The brigade was established the year after the 1967 bushfires. Since then, their expertise has been used numerous times, including at the devastating Dunalley fires in 2013.
I think that's what Tasmania is great at, is community pitching in and helping, and that's why our volunteers are so good and well regarded, I think, yeah.
The community today reflecting on those events past and recognising the ongoing commitment from its volunteers. Among them, the lead firefighter Phil GARD, who has been on call for the past 36 years.
Social and everything, and I've been retired for a few years, so it's good to come down and see the young ones coming through and assist out, give a bit of experience to the people.
It's mateship and comradeship and all that sort of thing, and I think it's working together for a common goal, you know, and it can be life and death stuff as well at times.
LOUISE, HEDGER, Southern Cross News.
Tasmanian pre-loved fashion connoisseurs have been treated today with a pop-up market offering everything a shopaholic desires. The sustainable fashion event attracting more than 500 people.
Racks upon racks, a feast for the fashionista's eyes. Those keen to snap up a bargain or a whole new wardrobe fit-out descending on Hobart's City Hall.
I've had a bit of a lifestyle change, so I'm looking for something a bit more casual. Yeah, so I've said goodbye to corporate black, and here I am.
It's so important that we find more sustainable ways to conduct our lives, and women are terrible when it comes to clothing, and so the more pre-loved opportunities there are, the better.
The market's the brainchild of SUSANNAH SLATTER, who was sick of fast fashion and its implications. She decided the answer was to start local and get Tasmanians involved in selling their pre-loved wear to give them a new lease on life.
And the more that sustainability becomes the norm, becomes mainstream, the better for the planet.
90 stallholders set up shop today, including this mum and daughter team.
So I've got some retro items there. I've also got an item that was my mother's that I had hidden away in the cupboard. So it was great to just sort of pull out of these items and say, well, I think someone else could love these. They've hidden away in the cupboard too long.
I think if you buy second-hand clothes or are willing to sell some of your clothes second-hand, you're more willing to buy quality things, so they'll last longer.
While this is the last overdressed market for now, similar markets are hosted around the state.
So better for you, better for the planet, better for the people making them.
A sustainable day out that's always on trend. Louise, HEDGER, Southern Cross News.
The festive spirit was alive and well on Hobart's eastern shore this morning as hundreds turned out for the annual Eastlands Shopping Centre Christmas Parade. Students from Belreef Primary School kitted out in fancy dress, along with musicians and carolers helping to spread the Christmas cheer, with just 30 sleeps to go until the big day. Dozens of performers are stepping onto the stage in a Launceston show tonight aimed at giving everyone a moment in the spotlight. The Studio Space Theatre Company is an all-inclusive group for people with disabilities or anyone just seeking a bit of drama. 11 classes are taking part in the annual showcase being held at the Princess Theatre for the very first time.
We're very pumped, we're very nervous, we've never done anything as big like this before, and so with people with anxiety, this is perhaps a real achievement.
The theatre company is an initiative of St Giles. The legacy of former Longford Fun Run organiser Liz Ellis continues to live on, with roughly 80 runners today setting the pace around the historic Woomers estate.
The support today has been fantastic. Last year we were at Brickenden for a little while, and then the floods washed the roads away and we've had a lot of obstacles. So last year was our starting point on bringing it here.
Ms Ellis created the event, running it until her death in 2012. This year also saw funds raised for research into motor neuron disease.
The New Look Tasmanian Football Council is urging people not to lose hope in Tasmania eventually having its own AFL team. But to do so, the TFC's new president says all factions of the state's football community need to provide AFL House with a united front. After the AFL CEO recently poured cold water on the idea once again, many in the state have flat out given up on the idea.
We are a little bit exhausted because we see what's happening around the state. People are doing their absolute best with what they've got, but we just haven't had the investment over the years. With
the state government recently throwing its support behind the formation of a Football Tasmania board to progress the idea, the TFC president says the case is stronger than ever, but acknowledges the mammoth task ahead.
We've sometimes let the rivalries between regions and clubs and states divide what we need to do when it comes to the business of football.
The challenge now lies in getting every stakeholder, from AFL Tasmania to the TSL and each community football league in the state, to agree on the best way to achieve a dream that's eluded Tasmania for decades.
A united voice for Tasmanian football that will be able to address and rebuild grassroots football across Tasmania, but also provide an engine room that can support the bid for the AFL team.
But with hopes built up only to be shattered countless times in the past, whether this latest bid is the start of something special or simply another pipe dream remains to be seen. Some of the country's best amateur golfers have battled it out at the Tasmania Golf Club for day 2 of the annual Men's and Women's Amateur State Championships. More than 70 competitors are chasing the title, with local members Andrew Phillips, 2-time champion Mark Schultz and Georgia Milburn among the favourites. The event wraps up on Tuesday with 2 36-hole final rounds. After weather put a dampener on plans for the Tasmanian Inclusion Shield, players were forced to take things indoors today, but it certainly didn't kill the competitive spirit for the annual North versus South rivalry.
Having people involved of all abilities in sport and active lifestyle is so beneficial for their well-being.
The event features the state's top cricketers with intellectual disability, giving them a chance to catch the eye of state selectors.
The pathway now is amazing because, well, there is a pathway, and it just proves that sport is, cricket is a sport for all abilities.
Those picked for the state team will compete at the National Cricket Inclusion Carnival in Geelong early next year. It's a great initiative too, Jo, and that is it for sport.
Certainly is. Thanks so much for that, Tom.
Good evening. Cloudy skies across the state today with some showers in the south and east. Hobart just 13 today, Launceston 18, Burnie 20 degrees and Devonport 17. 24 was the state's high today at Strawn, Smithton 21, 20 for King Island, Lowhead 19, 18 at Ouse, St Helens 17, 16 for Flinders Island, Grove 14, 13 at Maria Island and Liaweenie 10 degrees. A cloud band is seen streaming over the state today, particularly in those southern and eastern parts. That cloud is spiralling around a low well to the northeast of the state. Extensive low to middle level cloud extending from a low in the western Tasman Sea over Tasmania and most of the Bight. A bright low to mid-level cloud band over far southwest WA and afternoon convection clouds over eastern Australia and the top end. The rest of the country mostly cloud-free. Tomorrow, a broad low-pressure trough is running west to east through central Australia. A high-pressure system extends a ridge into southwest WA, while a complex low lies in the Tasman Sea. A look to coastal waters now. South to southeasterly winds 10 to 20 knots, more variable about the central north. Seas 1.5 metres. Tomorrow's forecast, a few showers expected in the south with 18 for Hobart and Dover, Ouse 21. Showers developing around the north, 22 in Launceston, Devonport 20, 19 in Scottsdale. A possible shower developing in Burnie, 20 degrees, partly cloudy for Strawn 20, 19 at Stanley, partly cloudy there. A shower or two at St Helens 18, 17 for Swansea with showers and Ross 19 with a shower or two. The UV is 9s and 10s across the state tomorrow, which is very high. On Tuesday, showers in the north during the morning, extending statewide later in the day. Showers mainly about the northwest and the east coast on Wednesday. And Thursday, possible showers mainly about the northwest and northeast. Mainland conditions now, 21 and sunny in Perth. Adelaide and Canberra, partly cloudy, 24. Melbourne, a possible morning shower, 20 degrees. Sydney, mostly sunny, 23. Brisbane, a sunny 32. Cairns, 36. Darwin, 35 and Broome, 30, all partly cloudy. And Alice Springs expecting a possible shower or storm with a hot 40 degrees.
Well, that's all from the news team for now. Thanks so much for your company. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.